What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's Adrian, King Coop, whatever you want to call. Um, I just wanted to hop on and kind of just, say what's up. Hope you guys are enjoying the weekend. Sunday was beautiful. Saturday was beautiful. I was able to take the dogs to Seaport Village and kind of walk around by the water. That was great. A lot of people really stopped and took pictures of Luna. She's very beautiful. Would stop us, pet the dogs, just ask a lot of questions, and it was kind of cool because it makes me proud to just have beautiful dogs that are interesting to people. Some people are intimidated, which I understand. They're big, they look aggressive, but they're not. And some people just kind of are obsessed with them, which is really cool too. Um, I kind of wanted to talk about the dogs a little bit today. I figured that'd be a great little video to make. So I have two American Bullies. Tinkerbell is my blue ghost try, and Luna is my Merle ghost try, and I love them to death. And for those of you who don't know, blue is Tinkerbell's coat color, and she's a ghost try because she has the tan points, but they're faint, so you can't really see them. But she does carry that in her coat, and it's the same thing with Luna. Merle is her coat pattern, and then the ghost try is the same thing. So I first got into bullies when I lived in Oregon. Now, I've always liked American Bullies. They just have always been kind of, a little more expensive, so I never really could afford one. But I've always loved dogs. I've always loved dogs. Every dog that my family has had has been because of me. And I just love the animal, they're just great. I think they're just amazing creatures, and I think everyone should have a dog. But that's just me. I get it. Some people don't like them. Understandable. So anyway, when I was living in Oregon, I was working at Costco, and I was talking to a couple coworkers about dogs. And I had one coworker who had rescued a pit bull, like all the way up in Washington or something like that. And I had made the comment like, "Oh, I would drive all the way to Washington for a dog too." And I specifically said like a blue nose pit bull. And one of our coworkers overheard, and later on in that evening, she had pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, my boyfriend breeds American Bullies. Like, if you're interested, we have a girl, yada, yada." One thing led to the other. I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like, I'd love to meet her." And I didn't really give it a second thought after that. And then maybe like a few days later, she was getting picked up after work, and we were both off at the same time. And her boyfriend had brought the dog. And I saw her and just fell in love, and immediately I was like, "Yep, we're bringing that one home." And so that's how we ended up with Tinkerbell. And then when I actually got to bring Tinkerbell home in January, maybe like a month after that, I got Luna on my birthday, from the same people, Gab Kennel out in Oregon. And so then I had two American Bullies. And I never really, I've kind of always been like, yeah, like, I want to do, everything I can think of with them. Like, just want to enjoy them, have them together so they have a friend to play with and stuff. And then, the more I started to kind of be around the bully world, it's like, oh, I really like the dog shows. Like, that's a lot of fun. So I put Tinkerbell in some shows, and she's been doing pretty good. We're not quite champed out yet, but I think we're done showing for now. Just kind of, with a lot going on and different things happening in our lives right now, I think it's just the best idea to take a break. But we also do plan on having puppies hopefully in the future with her. So within the, actually really soon. So I kind of just hope that, we'll just take a break from the shows, because I kind of want her to just not have to stress about them that much. And when I say not have to stress about them, like when we're at the shows, I enjoy it. I love it. It's a great atmosphere. But I can tell, she's not the biggest fan of them. Sometimes she does kind of get a little stressed out, or just doesn't really enjoy being there. So in the ring, she is kind of, sometimes she's on point, sometimes she's not. Just really just depends on her feeling. And so, we just kind of go from there. With the shows, and kind of see how she's feeling after a couple, and then if she's doing good, we'll put her in the rest of them if there's more than like one or two. But we've done pretty good. We got a lot of these ribbons in a couple of weekends. We got a few of them in Las Vegas. That was our first time really competing in the classic class, and competing against real competition, like nice dogs from across the country, and to place in every show we had in the top three was amazing. We got second place twice and third place once, so I wasn't mad at that. That's a great weekend for her first show. And then we had another show in San Diego where she did really good. She had like I think she got two second places and like 5 first place, 6 first place, and then she got 5 best females. So that was pretty cool. So it was fun. She's definitely not the most perfect dog, but she's very well put together. Like I know she has a couple flaws, and that's not the end of the world, because there's nothing that can't be fixed like in the next generation to be bred out. And we have some really great studs lined up for her, and I think it's gonna be something that'll click really well. So that's been really fun having them, and kind of just seeing her grow and being in the shows, and really just seeing other dogs and what wins and what the judges really like and what they look for. But at the same time, I'm not really going to breed for what the judges like. I'm breeding for a look that I like and what I want out of a bully. And, there's all sorts of different ways to go with it, but I feel like I've learned as much as I could in the short time that I was, in Oregon around certain people to learn about what they look for, and like what they think makes a good dog. And okay, cool, like I appreciate that insight, like that's what you seek at this one, like what do you think about this dog, and just kind of pick their brain a little bit. It's been nice. So I feel like I'll be able to take that knowledge into my program and really develop something. But anyway, having 2 dogs is great, and it's been a lot of fun to really take them places, because I get so many compliments. So many people love, the dogs, or they'll just kind of like surprised that I have 2 of them together, because not a lot of people know what, they think they're pit bulls. And so people are like, oh, pit bulls, like, dangerous, aggressive dogs. But one, they're not pit bulls. They're American Bullies. They do have that in their lineage. That's how they were brought around, with Amstaffs and Pitties, and bulldogs and things of that nature back in the 80s. But and 2, they're the nicest dogs I've ever had. Like, yeah, they look mean, but they're not mean. They can be mean, but they're not. And so it's just been like, I love bringing them places, because when people are actually willing to like talk and ask questions, it's a good opportunity to educate people without being a dick about it, or without being like, oh, well, it's not a pit bull, it's an American Bully, like there's a difference. Like, no, like people ask because Luna does not look like a pit bull. Like, that's not a coat you see on a pit bull. She's not built like a pit bull. So people always ask me, oh, what are they? And it's nice because I love, like, oh, they're American Bullies, great dogs. So it's been fun, and eventually I'd like to have a couple of, maybe 2 or 3 males. I'd love to have, maybe 1 or 2 puppies keep from Tinkerbell, and 1 or 2 from Luna, and kind of just go from there, but who knows? It's a whole world of possibilities. But I'm very excited for what the future holds for us, and I'm looking forward to just learning more about the dog world. And I'm really excited to be able to have a male and go hit the show ring and just really compete against some of the big names in the game, and have some of the really, really nice dogs out there, and be known to have some great dogs, because I'm hitting the show with just great dogs. And that just comes from, one, having great foundation females in your yard, or foundation males, and taking the right outcross. If you match the blood, you'll be solid. And I feel like I'm doing that with what I have lined up for Tinkerbell next year. We're doing some really good outcrosses, some great blood, a really big name dog out on the East Coast. And so it'll just be interesting to see. I've seen what Tinkerbell's mom obviously can produce with that litter. I've seen what her dad has done. I've seen what her brother has done. I've seen her sister just had a litter with a great stud, in Gab Kennel, and I've seen what she can produce. So I have an idea of what Tinkerbell is going to produce with with what I have lined up. And so I'm excited because, the dogs we have lined up are, complementing what Tinkerbell has already and correcting the one or two flaws that she does have. And, I'm not blind to that. Like, I know Tinkerbell's not perfect. I know Luna isn't perfect. I know there are a couple things on each of them that if I have the right dog will add to that and not take away, because ain't no way I'm going to breed to a dog with problems. It's just not what's going to happen. I'm going to breed to a dog that can complement what Tinkerbell brings to the table, and at the same time she can complement what he has, and at the same time they're fixing, if there's anything that needs to be fixed, like 9 times out of 10 the male's going to be the one that's bringing the one thing I need to fix the female. And so it's just little things like that, like learning about, how the blood's going to pop and doing your research and seeing, productions, because you can't just trust that the dog's going to produce something great if you haven't seen what he can produce. And that's a huge thing, is judging a dog off his productions. And so that's one thing I would love to be able to do, And so, outside of that, it's just been a great learning experience for me on how to kind of train the dogs and really build a relationship where they can trust me, so we can do things like being in the show ring, and they're not timid, they're not afraid. It's something that we practice and practice and practice, and they're used to, and they understand that, hey, like, this is showtime right now, like we're this is serious, this is business, like, all right, let's get it done. Like, to have that recall and that rapport with the dog is great. And so it's been fun, because even though Luna doesn't compete, I've been able to work with Luna on the same things, just to build that structure, that obedience, that, okay, I can listen, this is what we're doing, all right, awesome, and just kind of have that rapport. So then when we aren't, we're just out and about, it's still there, that rapport is still there, because I work with her on everything, not just the show ring, but everything. And it's fun. Like, I would love to get them trained for sure, like really strictly trained. That's something that I would eventually love to do, like sooner rather than later, but it's just a matter of finding the time, honestly, to make that happen. But outside of that, it's just been great having dogs, because it's taught me a lot about myself, just having more patience, being, understanding of, it's not going to happen right away like you want it. Like, it takes time, it takes repetition, it takes, because not only are they learning, I'm learning, and we're just working together. So it's been one hell of a journey, but I'm excited to continue that with them, because even when I have puppies around, like, I still gotta, work with them and take care of them and focus on them, and do everything with them to make sure that we're still, staying tight and working on, our leash training and our leash manners, and not being reactive to on the leash to other dogs, or not freaking growling over treats, or not treats, the bones that they share. There's be like 4 bones in the room, and one dog will have one bone and the other one won't, and she'll walk up to their dog, and like, they just like to bully each other for their bones, which I'm working on. I don't, not a fan of that. It's like, it's always something new every day with dogs, which is fun. And I think dogs are the best thing in the world, so I'm not going to complain. But yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people are out there don't agree with, the breeding, which I understand. Not everybody is about that, but I think if you're an ethical breeder and you do things the right way, and you have contracts in place, and you take care of your dogs, and you make sure that the dogs you're sending out are healthy and taken care of and are going to good homes, I feel like you're not going to have the problem of your dog ending up in a shelter, which won't happen if you have a good contract in place. So I see both sides of the coin. I'm also all about rescuing. Like, I would love to rescue a bunch of dogs also. Like, I'm not opposed to doing that. I just, at this point in time, that's just not where my focus is. Not that there's anything wrong with, so I just feel, it's going to be, there's always going to be people that are just disagreeing with it. And I understand I get it. I truly get it. But at the same time, if I'm doing it the right way and I'm being ethical about it and I'm making sure my dogs are taken care of, the reason there's so many dogs in shelter is because people don't take care of their dogs. They don't realize it's a lifetime thing. They have the dog, and after 3 or 4 years, oh, we're moving, it's too hard, I can't take care of it, so you should get rid of it, because it's easy to just give up a dog. And so people just do that. And there's people who are unethical breeders who are just breeding the crap out of these dogs and ruining their lives. Like, there's so many factors that go into it. So when people shut it down, they're like, oh, you guys are breeders, like F you, like you're part of the problem. It's just like, I disagree with you, because I know plenty of breeders that that's not the case. So anyway, I'm excited for where we're going, for where it's headed. But the big thing I've noticed in the show ring, just in the show community in general, is everyone, for the most part, respects each other. Everyone, is willing to talk to you, talk to you about, oh, your dog this, your dog that, oh yeah, my dog this, I do that, whatever. Like, oh, what do you do to do this? Like, how do you get this? There are people giving classes on how to show your dog and handle your dog. And yeah, there's like, sometimes some stuff going on, like, oh, they know each other, there's a, whatever, like there's always some backdoor deals going on, but it's just it's part of that world. But I enjoy it, and you can't really like be out there acting a fool, because then at that point no one's gonna want to mess with you, no one's gonna want to buy dogs from you, no one's gonna want you coming to the shows. Like, it doesn't make sense to act that way. And like, for me, the dogs that I show, my dog that I show, Tinkerbell, when I'm out there, yes, my shirt has my kennel's name on it, my logo, Truly Luxurious Bullies, like that's what's on there, it's who I'm representing. But my dog is her, glorious Tinkerbell's, it's Golden Armor Bullies Tinkerbell. So I'm not only representing myself, I'm also representing that kennel that my dog comes from. Because when people ask me, oh, where'd you get your dog? Your dog's really nice. Where'd you get your dog? Hey, who's your dog from? Oh, oh, she's from Gab Kennel up in Oregon, XYZ, ABC, yada, yada. Like, I'm representing that as well, because when people ask about me, that's where it goes. Like, I didn't produce her. She's not something that came from my yard. She's my foundation. She's something that's going to produce for me. But at this point in time, she is Gab Kennel's Tinkerbell of Truly Luxurious Bullies. So at the end of the day, I can't be out there acting a fool, because if I'm acting a fool, obviously no one's going to want to mess with me. But then people are going to question Gab, and maybe they're not going to want to mess with Gab, because Gab does business with people like myself, and it just doesn't really benefit anybody. So anyway, I enjoy it. I have yet to have a bad show. I've been to one in Las Vegas so far. I've been to a couple in Oregon, one in Washington. We've, a few here in San Diego. I've been to a couple in California, and it's always been a good time. It's always been fun. There's music, food, there's always kids around that have fun show. Then there's the sanctioned dog shows where you're competing for points, and people are walking around with their dogs, stopping, talking, asking questions, taking business cards, chopping it up, making connections, and it's just a cool time. And I think that's one of the things I love about it, is being like, is that like, even though we're competing, we're all out there having fun, we're all doing it together. And being, someone who played sports my whole life growing up, I've been a very competitive person. And when I stopped playing sports after college, it's like, well, what am I, what's my next thing? Like, so is my job. And then I got into this, and I enjoy it. It's great. I love it. It's so much fun to be out there. And even when I'm not competing, I have friends that show dogs. So it's a lot of fun to see them, out there competing with their dogs, and their dogs are doing great. Sometimes I'll help and handle one of their dogs, and their dogs are beautiful. It's a great time. Like, it's just a fun community to be around, and no one's willing to like shut you down. Like, everyone's willing to like talk to you and give you game and chop it up with you and try to like, oh yeah, well, so and so's from here, like, yeah, like this dog, that dog, whatever, like, oh, your dog's nice, or like, yeah, there's this, whatever. No one's an asshole so far. I haven't had that experience. Like, yeah, there's a couple people that are just kind of whatever, but that's everywhere you go. Excuse me. So I think, everyone, if you're going to have an American Bully and you're going to be in this world, in this game, and you're going to try to breed and stuff, and you or stud your dog out, you should take your dog to the shows, man. I mean, I get it. Some people don't care because they have a name. They spend a lot of money on the name, but shows are a great way to just, connect and meet people and just, be out there and put your name out there. And then when you're competing, so now you're like, yeah, my dog's legit. Like, look at us. We're in the ring. We're winning ribbons. Like, we're pointing out. We're champed out. We're grand champion. Like, this badass dog. Like, what's up? Like, instead of, being like, oh, my dog's 10K. My dog's this. But you, like, don't have productions, you haven't been in the show ring, you just using a name that you bought the dog from. Like, all right, cool, I get it, I get it, good for you, and that might work, but like, we got. I think shows are huge, and I think we should make that a more important part of the bully world. Is like, yo, you got to go to the shows, man. It's important to get out there, and it's fun. It's a great time. So anyway, that's just my little spiel on that. I kind of changed up my setup a little bit. I added Tinkerbell's ribbons behind me. I got this dope Cheshire cat from my brother's girlfriend. She got it for me at Disney. It's a dope. He's one of my favorite characters from Alice in Wonderland. She also got me this Funko Pop. Great little Cheshire cat Funko. So it's kind of made me want to collect the entire Alice in Wonderland set of the Funko. Because I think that's dope. And I kind of really want to get into Funko Pops also, outside of the comic book thing. So, just changing the setup a little bit. Gonna keep it, like I said, workshopping a bunch of different things. Maybe some names for some segments, things like that. Working on getting some people in here. So, yeah, man, that's kind of just how it's going. It's my little spiel on my dogs, what we're doing, my little opinion on the shows. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for watching the last video. More to come. I'm going to try to start posting a little bit more frequently if I can get this all figured out. And if you have any comments or questions, put them in there. Hit me up if you have questions about the dogs or just whatever, you have advice. If anyone is willing to help me figure out my issue with YouTube, that would be wonderful. Appreciate you guys. Have a great week. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. Peace.